Gold Star, whole chicken.
69 cents a pound.
And ground beef, 99 cents a pound.
But that's not good enough for our customers. We need to lower the price of boneless and skinless chicken breast to $1.99 a pound every day. All in favor? All opposed? Oh, no. Giant. Everybody saves every day.
Jack Reed, Badge of Honor, 11:35 tonight. Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program with Phil Andrews and Rob Jennings.
Saturday night, Rob's off. I'm Rick Williams. In the news tonight, residents of the South get an up-close look at the destruction left behind by a day of tornadoes. And tight security surrounds today's Public League All-Stars basketball game. But the big story on Action News tonight is an announcement at this hour from the Transport Workers Union in Center City. Of course, they're still trying to hammer out a new contract with SEPTA, and they have called a 6 o'clock news conference. Let's go live to the Franklin Plaza Hotel and Action News reporter Matt O'Donnell for the details. Matt.
Well, Rick, the SEPTA negotiators and the Transport Workers Union have been going over the latest proposal on the table from SEPTA here at the hotel, and at this point we're waiting for a news conference to begin. From the Transport Workers Union, they're expected to talk about that latest proposal and maybe update us on whether or not there could be a strike this weekend or later on next week sometime. In the meantime, we can tell you that the union has been motivating its members earlier today. Strike captains for Transport Workers Union Local 234 gathered at union headquarters in Spring Garden 5 hours ago. They met for a little over a half an hour. It was much like the meeting they held a week ago today. The leadership and its captains discussed strategy and made sure everyone is on the same page if and when a strike is called. After the meeting, Union President Steve Brookins declared his members united.
What's important for you to know is that Local 234 is 100% together.
The union also criticized Mayor Ed Rendell, number one, for him telling the union to accept SEPTA's latest contract offer, and number two, for not having met with union leaders for some time. Union leaders say the last time they met with Rendell was 3 weeks ago.
We're the ones that operate the vehicles, that fix them, that does all the work, and he ought to try to listen to what we have to say sometimes.
Now, for SEPTA's part, they say that Mayor Rendell not getting involved in the talks at this point is not the problem. They say the problem is the union not negotiating in good faith. And once again, we're here at the hotel waiting for a news conference to begin. Apparently, it's going to get on a little bit late. But if anything comes out that is pertinent to all of this, we'll bring it back to you live. But for now, I'm Matt O'Donnell live in the Action Cam in Center City.
All right, Matt. Thank you. And, of course, stay with Action News for the very latest on the SEPTA contract talks as the threat of a strike in Philadelphia continues. In other news tonight, this has been a miserable day to be outside in the Delaware Valley. Raw is the word to best describe how it feels when the heavy rains and gusty winds. The entire Delaware Valley is under a flood watch tonight. This was the scene this afternoon along the Admiral Wilson Boulevard in Camden. This is always a trouble spot during heavy rain, and today was no different. Of course, police are urging motorists to take it easy on wet and slick roads throughout the night. Heavy surf down at the Jersey Shore is causing flooding tonight as well. Here in Longport, the weather combined with high tide to bring the rough Atlantic right up to the seawall. Farther south in Sea Isle City, the water washed right past the dunes into the streets. Of course, Sea Isle City is already trying to recover from that string of nor'easters that hit this winter. There is currently a $400,000 geotube project underway to prevent more flooding like this in the future. And coming up on the AccuWeather forecast, how's this rain going to turn into snow tomorrow? We'll have that in just a few moments. Down south, residents are still stunned by the destruction of tornadoes yesterday morning. In Gainesville, Georgia, houses are gone. This is northeast of Atlanta. A single tornado here pulled homes from their foundations, leaving little more than splinters behind. 11 people were killed along the Twister's 10-mile path. There was no warning that the tornado was coming, and today emergency and management officials say the result is simply staggering.
I've never seen anything of this caliber. But I've also never seen anything as devastating as this is, and I hope I never see it again.
The damage here is estimated to be at least $13.5 million. To Tonight, the National Guard is patrolling the town to prevent looting. That same storm system took its destruction to North Carolina as well. This is the scene today in Stoneville as residents here got an up-close look at the damage of another tornado. This twister killed 2 people and injured nearly 30 others. And as you can see, it left the town's main street in tatters. Officials say every building on the street is now missing something, be it a door, a roof, or windows. Back in this area, fire investigators are searching for the cause of a suspicious blaze in the city's West Oak Lane section. This was the scene around 1:45 this afternoon here in the 1900 block of Penfield Street. Witnesses say one woman inside the home had to jump from a second-story window to escape the flames. She was rushed to Einstein Medical Center with minor injuries. The fire was eventually brought under control, but officials are looking into the possibility that someone threw a firebomb through the window of the home. An emotional confrontation today at a suspected drug house in Logan. It's the site of a shooting Thursday that left a teenage girl dead. Today, the girl's mother met the man she says is responsible. Michelle McCormack has that story.
I want him to see LaToya Brown's mother.
The family of murder victim LaToya Brown wanted the chance to meet face-to-face with the man who lives in the alleged crack house where the crime occurred. But he wore a knit cap as police arrested him for illegal gas hookup. He gave Brown's family no response. The 14-year-old was shot outside the home just days ago. A 13-year-old has turned himself in. He allegedly fired the gun after a game of Russian roulette. LaToya's family says she was not a drug courier, but they don't doubt that drug activity went on inside the home at 6090 Birchwood.
I don't want nothing like this to ever happen again to no mother or child, ever. Nobody deserves to go down like this.
Neighbors were under the impression that the home that you see behind me should have been vacant since 1991. Police even thought an eviction notice was to have been served on the man who had been living in here. It was several months ago that the suspicious activity had begun.
We had asked them, please don't bring it in our neighborhood. We didn't want it. We have too much of it as it is. And unfortunately, it took for this young girl to lose her life to bring the severe attention to the problem that we have.
It looks like a nice block, and they don't need a whole lot of problems with drugs and stuff, so we're trying to close down a lot of drug houses and stuff, and this is one of them.
Residents want to make sure the house is boarded up so no one can re-enter as they try to rebuild after this tragedy. They are less certain on how to repair the broken heart. Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News.
Security was tight at St. Joe's University today for the Public League All-Star Game. Spectators had to go through metal detectors as they arrived on campus for the big game. University officials were taking no chances, doing everything possible to avoid the type of violence that erupted outside the Palestra 3 weeks ago following the Public League basketball championships. One man was killed, 3 people were hurt. The gunman eventually turned himself in. Police report no incidents during or after today's All-Star Game. Making a difference in the lives of young people, that was the purpose of a rally today in North Philadelphia. Members of the Citywide Improvement and Planning Agency organized this youth leadership rally. Scores of teenagers were on hand to take part in this 6th annual event. The rally focused on issues affecting young people like neighborhood crime and violence, while collectively searching for solutions to those problems. In Trenton, New Jersey, hundreds of young people rallied against drugs in their communities. While various city officials attended the demonstration, it was strictly young people who organized, spoke, and entertained at today's event. The teenagers are hoping this will show the mayor and other city leaders in Trenton that more is needed to combat the drug epidemic. They also called for the construction of another drug treatment center in the city. And coming up on Action News tonight, a malfunction forces the emergency shutdown of a New Jersey nuclear power plant. Later, a victory for the makers of the movie Titanic 2 days before the Oscars. And it's payback time as the Flyers meet the team that knocked their captain off the ice. Phil Andrews has sports. Also, the exclusive AccuWeather forecast with snow in the forecast, as we mentioned. All that and more when Action News comes right back. Stay with us.
Jack Warner, filming. What if we told you to watch Joel Siegel's Road to the Academy Awards?
Looks the same as it did the last time I saw it.
Want to feel like a Hollywood insider? What do you want me to say?
Yes!
What if we promised you something?
How extraordinary.
Well, how about the inside scoop on all the nominees with ABC's Joel Siegel?
Follow the stars down Joel Siegel's Road to the Academy Awards. Tonight at 7 on 6 ABC. The 90.
Nothing changes faster than the weather, but we're running a close second. Stay informed with Weather Center all day today and every day.
In the next half hour, Weather Center, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Well, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us here for Weather Center. I'm Rich Johnson here at Janetta Jones. And yesterday, that was the nasty day with the tornadoes from Georgia to North Carolina. Now we have a storm in the northeast, and you know what? It may actually snow in New York City.
How about that? We
tonight.
haven't seen a lot of snow in New York City so far this year.
That's right. 1/2 inch officially at the park. And you know what? Just to take examples, Atlanta, 1 inch of snow officially, but that will change probably tonight. You may see upwards of another 1/2 inch or inch.
How about that?
Wow.
Ooh. First weekend in spring. How about that? Let's check out what's happening right now. We have a little bit of rain, a little bit of sleet, a little bit of freezing rain, a little bit of snow. That's what we've had to deal with all day long with this particular system. As this goes into motion, you'll see how we have seen the precipitation wrapping around that area of low pressure, if you will. And it is going to be riding up the coastline, and that will be providing us with more precipitation tomorrow. In places like Syracuse, we saw heavy snowfall throughout the day today. In fact, this morning, the snow did come down at a pretty good clip. We picked up as much as 6 inches of snow in a short amount of time, about 4 or 5 hours, and it messed up folks on the roadways. Yeah, we're doing a little slipping and sliding at one point today. And I believe these pictures will prove it. Yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Not good. But you know what? Later in the day, temperatures warmed up and the roadways warmed up a bit, and we saw a lot of melting, and so the roads cleared up. But later tonight, you know the vicious cycle that occurs. It's been snowing off and on. We're going to see those wet roadways start to ice up a bit, especially on the bridges and the overpasses. So be extra careful out there. It might be a good idea just to stay in tonight, especially in areas that are seeing the freezing rain and the sleet and that kind of thing. Snow on back into Buffalo, snow in Erie. Pittsburgh has been seeing some rain. Philadelphia has been seeing some rain. So is Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. Sort of a dreary, cold evening with the precipitation not really that heavy, just kind of a light, drizzly, rainy evening for you in New York City. Hartford, Connecticut has been seeing some light rain too. Western fringes of the storm, we've been seeing some snow from Detroit to Cleveland to portions of Kentucky and on down into eastern Tennessee. Charleston, West Virginia has been seeing some snow. Don't expect a whole lot of accumulation here. We will, however, see about 3 to 6 inches of snow where we have the darker purple shading. Now, some of these interstates could become treacherous, as I mentioned, especially in the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning as you're getting up and getting out to go to church or maybe run some errands, go to work. I-80 could be treacherous. We could see some problems on I-87 and I-95, so we want to give you a heads up on that. This is the way things are configured. We have our low that's going to be tracking up the eastern seaboard. A low has a counterclockwise rotation of wind around it, so that pulls that moisture in off of the Atlantic and pushes it right back on top of you. And that's what we're facing through the day tomorrow. Southeast finally clearing out after a very rough day yesterday of severe weather in Georgia and North Carolina and Virginia. Today, Virginia and North Carolina, you have been seeing some rain showers. Nothing too heavy, but rain from Richmond now to Norfolk on back towards the coast. Cape Hatteras could see some scattered showers very, very shortly. So that's the way things are shaping up in the east. What about the rest of the country? Here's Rich.
Well, thank you, Janetta. Not only are we seeing snow this first weekend of spring, but cool air is making it quite chilly from the plains all the way over to the southeast. You really had to bundle up today in Atlanta. The high temperature struggled to get to 40 degrees. Actually, it made it to 41 degrees. Some of the winds gusted at 30 miles per hour. A chilly day to be outside playing soccer, that's for sure. Temperature this time of year should be 66 degrees, and it didn't feel like that at all. In fact, the wind chill right now in Atlanta is 20, so feels a lot colder than it should be this time of year. 38 now in Atlanta. Looking to the north, we have 30s all the way up across the northern United States, then very mild conditions in the southwest. Out ahead of this front, bit of a ridge of high pressure, so we're seeing milder conditions. Some cases it's going to be hot over the next couple of days, where the deserts of the southwest will be 80 to maybe 90 plus degrees. Lander, one of the cool locations, again, 34 degrees, more like a valley area. A lot of times you get the clouds around Lander. That inversion's tough to break, and Lander right here, and if you look, it looks like there's low clouds around the area. Anyhow, look over toward Colorado, out into the plains of Kansas. That's the snowstorm that hit Wichita the other day, and the snow is rapidly melting, but plenty of snow into the Rockies to be enjoyed by all the skiers. Looking to the west around Portland, here comes the rain right up from the Willamette Valley, heading northward all the way over to around Seattle. Some rain showers continuing. Farther to the south, the rain picks up down toward the Columbia Gorge. In fact, around Portland today, a wet day. Trolley was out there and everyone had to have their umbrellas around. It looks like sort of a wet Saturday. Much of the rain is going to stick around for tomorrow too, because that is the trend as the cold front moves on in. Well, again, the radar showing rain all the way down through the valley, so a wet night tonight. Back over to San Francisco, rain showers, heavier rain heading
in. What it all means to you. Can't help but